How's it going? Hope everyone's having a great day so far. I know that in a couple of my previous videos, I've mentioned that I used to be a programmer or like a web developer, and I ended up quitting that job. And then I actually got a question from somebody who was kind of wondering why I did that, kind of what happened. So with this video, I'm going to kind of go over what happened with that, the stuff that I kind of learned, and how I transitioned out of that into the line of work that I do now. So to start everything off, um, I spent a lot of money and time going to a web development boot camp, and I tried using that to essentially fast track my way into programming, and um, I just kind of like saw programming in general as kind of like a golden ticket, or like an easy way to just kind of get through life. And I just assumed that once I got my first job in programming, that after that I'd be making really good money and life would be easy. I wouldn't have to really worry about anything. And I was pretty wrong about that. Um, I mean, obviously, considering I'm no longer a programmer, or at least in that capacity. And the thing is with programming, as I worked at that job, um, it very quickly became the biggest source of my stress and unhappiness. And I would end up coming home, you know, 5 out of 7 days of the week, just completely pissed off, irritated, and it wasn't good. So I ended up figuring out what was important, or like what I needed in order to feel fulfilled and motivated at work while I was there, which was nice. And that's mostly the topic that I wanted to go over with this video. And to start everything off with that job, I my office, I actually shared an office with my boss, and his desk was positioned directly behind my desk. And so he could see my screen like 100% of the time. And I definitely don't do well with environments like that, I guess. I really enjoy like having my own privacy, or like at least a space where I can work in private. And just like having my boss like looking down my shoulder um pretty much all the time while I was there, it just really elevated the stress I guess I had from the job. And it just, I guess the feeling of having to, your boss being behind you the entire time, it almost feels like you're being supervised because you're like incapable of like doing your own work, or like working independently, I guess. Um, so it kind of exasperated everything, and um, safe to say, did not like that. And the other thing was that I felt like the work that I was doing, it didn't impact me in any way, because the um, the work we were doing, it was mostly for this like software that was a private software, only used to uh, I guess like do medical testing stuff. And it was a software that I had absolutely no use case for, and I would never ever use in my personal life. I never met any of our clients. Like I didn't even know what they looked like. I've never talked to any of them. So I had no idea exactly like how this software was even like solving any problems, and I just didn't feel connected to the, I guess, like outcome of my work. So it was a lot harder to actually care about what I was doing. And pretty much, I would say five months into doing that, I ended up quitting, and I accepted a job for minimum wage working at a rock climbing gym. And I decided to go work there and just kind of focus on myself and kind of figure out what exactly it was I wanted to do. And it ended up being probably one of the best decisions I made. Not so much financially, because I went from making well above a I guess livable wage down to what most people would consider an unlivable wage. So aside from the financial aspect, it definitely was it was the right move, or at least I would consider it to be the right move. And while I was there, obviously I had to adjust my lifestyle because I went from making a substantial amount of money to pretty much no money. But as with most things, you adjust to it, you adapt, and I got used to it pretty quick. And then while I was there, I ended up figuring out that I kind of had a knack, or I guess a passion for like mentorship and coaching, and I really liked watching other people grow and kind of assisting them in that from like a supporting role. And I ended up staying there at that job, and I um, wasn't like an official coach or anything, but the people who would come in and climb and stuff like that, I would climb with them, and um, especially new climbers, I would help them out a bunch. And I ended up taking that experience that I figured out I liked like coaching from that job and mentorship, and then I combined it with my like technical knowledge of programming, and that's kind of how I ended up in the position I'm in now. Um, I kind of leveraged both of those skills, and now I teach programming to kids in schools, and that's kind of how I landed where I am now with my job. And I never would have gotten there had I completely just stuck with programming. Like if I had just stayed in that job, even though I hated it. Instead, I ended up taking the risk of dumping that and going down to like a minimum wage, which again, most people would consider pretty much unlivable. And I kind of figured out what exactly was important to me. And then I found a job, thankfully, that kind of lined up my interests with my skills. And now I'm in a much more fulfilling line of work that it doesn't, it can still be hard, as you know, every job can be. It can be stressful, but it doesn't leave me at the end of the day feeling angry, or I guess just unhappy. And in fact, I feel a lot happier after I've gone to work on some days, and generally they're always good days. So with that, I basically just want to wrap up the video really quick with emphasizing the point that in order to feel fulfillment in your work or like your job or anything like that, it's really important to be passionate about the effects that your work has on the like your clients. um, Being able to take ownership in the work that you do and just like know that you're doing good work or that you're helping people, for one, is obviously very motivating. You're like just knowing you're solving actual problems for people, and as a result of your work, it's, you know, doing some good things in the world. And it just tends to feel a lot more rewarding if you care about the outcome and it's something that matters to you. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.